it occurred to me that I am on my way from 80 to 90 here in the Underworld, and I haven't even described this build yet, this quote unquote Omega build. So, for posterity's sake, if for nothing else, I'm gonna break it down for you real quick. So, this is a mage build, 7-piece Tsukiyomi, 5-piece Omnio Austerity, and 1-piece Brilliant Stratagem. I'm gonna get into that in a little bit. Yasukani Tsukiyomi, along with another accessory with Sloth on Omnio Magic Hit. That'll be important later as well. So let's get started with the weapons. Now, as far as the weapons go, oh no, I'm sorry. Let me start with the overview. The overview here is that I wanted a mage that I could operate with about as few buffs as I possibly could manage. Aside from that, I noticed that Omnio mages are, I mean, ninjutsu, you can manage it with ninjutsu too, but Omnio mages, they are really great at applying status effects, in particular confusion. So I decided to make a build based around that. So, to start with, the two weapons, they can be really anything, but the one thing that I have found to be very handy for this build is to have one that has corruption and one that has purity. Now, in the previous videos, I was running through the Underworld more or less alone. So for this group of 10, I think I'm going to be going through with people, because this build really shines when you're playing co-op. And that's which leads into why you want to have corruption and purity, because not everybody runs both. Sometimes, you know, people will run one, sometimes they'll run the other, and you don't want to be in a situation where you have one of each, because with purity and corruption, they're the only two status effects that will overwrite each other. And that'll cause problems for your confusion later on down the line. Although, for the most part, I usually go forward leading with my corruption. It'll just generate more damage overall, and also anima gain. And that's in particular because of anima bonus on corrupted enemy, which is something that I got from soul cores. And I mean, if you don't know by now, you can use soul cores and fold them into corrupted weapons. You could also use that as a means to take traits from soul cores and put them onto other weapons, if you provided that you max out the familiarity. But that's beyond the scope of this. So, corruption, purity, the range, more or less ignore it. I mean, if you want, you can add fire damage. I'm sure there's some other perks. I think there's something to do with weight, whatever. Irrelevant. So, Tsukiyomi comes with 7-piece bonus, comes with Empowered Omnio, which is incredibly handy. It increases your damage after you've cast a spell, and if you can do enough damage if you can do enough physical damage to the enemy within a certain time frame, you get your spell back. They buffed up the window which you can get your spell back, which is really handy. But one of the most critical things here is the 3-piece bonus, reduced defense on Omnio Magic Hit. What that's going to do is that anytime you use Omnio Magic, specifically something that targets an enemy, it'll also add it'll also add reduced defense. Now, it may take more than one application of said spell to apply that reduced defense, but we'll mitigate that problem, and you'll see how. So, Grace of Tsukiyomi comes with reduced defense, right? I went with Imanoke's helm. Look, I'm gonna level with you. This is more or less a flex slot. You know, like you can put pretty much anything in. If you have like a mask that you like running, you can go ahead and run that. You know, the White Fox mask is pretty handy. The Tengu mask is pretty good, but This I just wanted to have that extra blindness because what you'll see is by the time we get to the end of this, like you'll be able to apply a lot of statuses very quickly on any enemy. And I mean, blindness is it's saved me more than once. So I find that, you know, like it's a handy thing to have, especially with everything else going on. Um, oh, one thing to take note of: elemental damage taken while guarding. That perk only appears on helmets. It can only spawn on helmets, but it can spawn as a perk that you can inherit, which is going to be handy later on. You're going to need two things in particular, two perks: elemental damage taken guarding and untouched omnio magic. Right? So moving on, here we see the first example of that elemental damage taken while guarding. So I found two other pieces, two other helmets aside from this one. This one I just tempered the perk on, but I found two other ones that have it as a inheritable, and I inherited it on my chest piece and my gloves. The reason the chest piece and the gloves specifically is because those are the only two that can naturally temper untouched omnio. Right? But aside from that, omnio austerity. Now I like omnio austerity plus because it further boosts empowered omnio magic, which that won't increase the window in which you have to gain back your spells, but it will increase the damage that you do after you've cast a spell. And along with that, it comes with a damage bonus for omnio magic power. Just overall, really nice. But the most important thing about it is that 4-piece effect, reduced attack on omnio magic hit. Now, if you recall earlier, with the Tsukiyomi, we have reduced defense on omnio magic hit. These both come on together. Alright, so when I cast omnio magic, the enemy will gain stacks of reduced defense and reduced attack. Alright, but we're not done here yet. So, elemental damage taken, make sure you have it on your chest, your gloves, and your helmet. Untouched omnio, make sure you have it on your helmet, your waist? Yeah, and your legs. Outside of that, really just, I like omnio magic power. Obviously, I like omnio magic power, but a lot of it. Any star effects that you get, so much the better. Star effects aren't the most necessary thing about this, but you know, they're helpful. And aside from that, I love me some active skill, and that's in particular it's because I'm using the split staff. I use changing ways, but pretty much exclusively. You see me, I spam it, even after the nerfs. I mean, like that corruption, you know, it adds just enough anima gain that wasn't affected too terribly by the nerf. So that was good. Make sure you're using omnio austerity. Like, you don't need omnio austerity plus. The main thing you want out of this is reduced attack, but if you get plus, it's, you know, so much the better. All these things are actually little things that'll help push you out a little bit further. Now, I got this one, I was lucky I got it with Sentience Charge, because, I mean, I don't know if you noticed this about yet, but I lean pretty heavily on that corruption. I do. Sloth on Omnio Magic hit. This will also proc along with reduced attack and reduced defense on Omnio Magic hit. Aside from that, all the other perks are just stuff that you can temper. Make sure that you have Untouched Omnio. Defense bonus, also very, very handy. Omnio Magic bonus, I don't know if it back in maybe like a couple patches ago, I know that it used to be really strong. I don't know if that's still the case. I stick it on there because it's Omnio. Life Drain, Omnio Magic hit, also handy. Jutsu item damage, I'm not 100% on whether or not that actually affects you. Obviously, when it comes to accessories, make sure you have, if not a Yasukani, something that has set bonus requirements reduced. You're always going to want to have that around. Aside from that, Scroll of the Neo, not clear of the Abyss, so I haven't gotten to the bottom. So I don't have Scroll of the Damned. Right. However, this was a massive pain in the butt to get, and while I'm around, I'll be freely sending this scroll out into the world. So, if you find it, good luck. Alright, now as far as spells, this, for the most part, this could be ignored. I didn't really know what to do with these 2 slots, I really didn't. Lantern Plant Fruit can be handy. This is good if you're playing with terrible people. Quick change. I love quick change. Mages are squishy. You're gonna end up dying a lot. Aside from that, you're gonna want 3 of Fire Familiar and Water Familiar, and 4 of Lightning. That's just my personal preference. Each of these elemental status effects comes with an additional effect, I suppose. So fire will do a fire dot. It'll do like consistent burn damage. Water, I'm sorry, scorched will do a dot effect. What's this? Submerged, drowned, waterlogged. I don't, whatever. If you're under the water status effect, it also adds a slight defense down buff, debuff. Sorry. Lightning Familiar, though, will add a slight sloth buff. Debuff. Jeez Louise. But that's really handy. It stacks with sloth on their magic hit. And the 2 of them combined, you can also add caltrops, which I've done before, and it's absolutely nutty. Like the boss is just basically half speed for the entire fight. It's incredible. But I ended up giving that up, and you'll see why later. Protection Talisman. Now, after, like, they recently, the only reason that I have 4 of these is because they recently reduced the cost of these in the latest patch, 1.23 as of this date. So, there was enough room for this, and beyond that, I like Protection Talisman. It's handy for keeping me alive, on top of another thing, which I'm going to get into later. Not too much longer later. So beyond that, Daionjin Sake actually is pretty handy. Okay, not going to lie. Tiger Running Scroll, Catwalking Scroll, Sneaky Scroll. Your sneaky scrolls to get through the Abyss with as little drama as possible. Oh boy. Okay. I really had to work for these, so please be proud, senpais. Otakimaru, yokai ability damage all. Ryomen Sukuna, yokai ability damage. And I'm gonna get into the specifics of this. Look, alright, I'm gonna give you the long and short, Scampus. The rest of these are going to be yokai ability damage all, and that's the specific thing here. I like Genbu is just Genbu. I like Kuzunoha. I like Genbu as a primary for stalwart Omnio Magic, which is important. Grants immunity to being staggered if you are attacked while casting Omnio Magic. Has saved my bacon on more than one occasion, especially when enemies launch multi-hit attacks while I'm casting my Protection Charm. It's just incredible. Highly recommended. And on top of that, the minus damage taken and minus elemental damage taken, 2 things that cannot be understated. And plus that anima bonus on Omnio Magic hit. All that is going to come into play later. So, moving on here. Anima bonus on ranged hit, elemental damage. I mean, like, it's Kuzunoha. Like, if you're not using Genbu, then this is what you should be using if you're an Omnio Mage. It's just incredible. Even its yokai ability is super strong. But, as far as this goes, yokai ability damage all, yokai ability damage all, and yokai ability damage all. Now, the reason I have all yokai ability damage all is because each one of these... Oi. Oi, oi, oi. Oh, I lost it. Alright, well. There we go. Increases the damage dealt by all yokai abilities. Alright? Which is great, and it's handy, and it's very, very useful. But it doesn't ever come as... Oh no. What have I done? Boop. Okay. But yokai ability damage all is not as strong as yokai ability damage. So what's happening here is that Ryomen Sukuna is getting that yokai ability damage all from the other, from its fellow cores. But then the biggest push comes from yokai ability damage. Now yokai ability damage, unlike yokai ability damage all, only affects Ryomen Sukuna. But I mean the combined boost is pretty, it's pretty strong. It gets into, I'd say, about Gozuki level. Maybe not in respect of key damage or stun ability, which would be fantastic, but whatever. It's fine. But it does do a lot of damage. Anima bonus when your enemy's in confusion, which, as you've seen, there's a lot of ways to generate confusion in this build. Anima bonus on Omnio Magic hit. Ryomen Sukuna is really the best, like, as near as I can tell, it is by far and away the best yokai spirit for an Omnio Mage. The confusion and the Omnio Magic hit are just incredible. So now, aside from just really, delighting in confusion and Omnio Magic, Ryomen Sukuna, by the nature of its own attack, does fire and ice damage, and it does a lot of build-up very fast for both. Fun fact, the Scorch that could possibly apply from Ryomen Sukuna will also give enemies that blindness status effect that we're getting from the Iminoke helm. So that blindness will apply if I'm hitting them with Ryomen Sukuna, if they get hit with enough Otakemaru spears. Shoot, if I had an Omniudo and decided to throw him out, I guess. I've never used Omniudo. But yeah. So the gameplay loop, right, putting all this together, basically equates to using, generally speaking, running in with Lightning Familiar. I like Lightning Familiar. I prefer it because Ryomen Sukuna do fire and water respectively. So between them and the Lightning Familiar, you have all three elements covered. So I'll go in with Lightning Familiar, and in order to generate confusion quickly, I'll either use my Purity Split Staff or my Corrupted one to generate confusion as quickly as possible. That'll give me the anima I need to throw out 1,000,000 Ryomen Sukuna and save every day. Now, you'll notice that on the other side here, oops. So on this side I'm using Ryomen Sukuna, but on this side I'm using Gozuki. Now, the reason I'm using Gozuki specifically is because I have not found an Ippon Datara with yokai ability damage all. Not yet. I'll get around to farming it, whatever. I'm not worried about it yet because regardless, I still like Gozuki, and with the amount of anima I generate on a regular basis, if I need him, I can call him out pretty much at any time. Now, Gozuki is really handy for smaller human enemies because Ryomen Sukuna, God bless him, he does not have a lot of break damage, that guy. Great at applying stat effects, but if the enemy is blocking forever, there's not much you can do throughout with this build if the enemy is blocking a lot. And when it comes to humans, they have basically infinite ki. It gets to be a problem. So Gozuki, But the problem, you see, the downside with Gozuki here is that Genbu gives the big anima bonus on Omnia Magic Hit. Ryomen Sukuna does the big anima bonus on Confusion. Particularly when it comes to Confusion. Confusion's one of the big tickers when it comes to anima gain here in this on this build. So when you swap over to Kuzunoha in the middle of a fight, you'll lose that anima bonus for Confusion. It'll really bring down your anima bonus. So when it comes to an actual fight, it's critical to swap in, get your Gozuki out, and then immediately swap back as soon as, well, not immediately, but as soon as possible, back to Genbu, so that way you can keep on taking advantage of the anima gain from Confusion. Which pretty much every enemy that you even get close to is going to end up getting confused. Now, I brought up earlier that Genbu is... Oh, I'm sorry, the protection was good defensive play. You're going to combine that with the tea house. Give it a moment. Now, as far as... Clan is an important part of this thing. We like Honda. And the reason we like Honda is that damage taken halved unscathed. Now, from what I've seen, maybe it's just damage values are really volatile when it comes to the yokai here, but from what I've seen, that damage taken halved while you're unscathed also applies to how much damage your protection buff takes. So if you're at full health, then you'll find that your protection talisman lasts a fair amount longer than it would otherwise. Plus that active skill damage, you know, I mean, you know how I feel about active skill. I love active skill. I love me some active skill. So, that would be the build in its totality. It's all about pretty much getting nearly every status effect in the game on just about every enemy. The advantage of having such a breadth of elemental options means that I can properly prepare to face just about any enemy in this game, save for, I want to say, Otakimaru. Otakimaru and that dumb bird guy. The dumb bird guy with the flute. I always forget his name. Minamoto or something like that. Oh no, I said I would go to the team. Whatever. That bird guy sucks. He has like no... Oh no, I'm creating one, right? Yeah, okay. Yeah, bird guy sucks. He has like no weaknesses. I think he's like only weak to like purity and corruption, which is ridiculous on his face. Boo. Boo to you, Birdman. Wow, that was a whole 20 minutes for that explanation. Okay, so we're gonna push out from 81 to 90. You know, I probably should have done the description while I was waiting. Anything else I want to bring up about it? No, really, the gameplay loop is just changing ways until you get confusion. Slap them with Ryomen. Make sure you have your familiars up. Oh, stats! Wow. Terrible. Okay, so now, I don't know if you noticed, I have a lot of ultimates on my scroll here. Ultimate Constitution, Ultimate Courage, Ultimate Magic. I have Mystic Dyad as well. It just kind of came with it, but I mean, I'm not against it either. The split staff has some pretty good Mystic Arts, so you know, I mean, having them both, can't complain. Untouched Omnio, because I freaking love Untouched Omnio. It's not like mine isn't at the highest it can be, I believe, But that's, I mean, aside from being an issue of familiarity. Now, oh, something else very important to take note of. Each piece of this armor has been remodeled for weight. Which is why I have 100 stamina. Alright, so my stats, 150 stamina to take advantage of ultimate constitution, stamina. 150 constitution to take advantage of ultimate constitution. 50 heart just to have some key on the board. Courage, working my way up to 200 here. But at least 150 for that ultimate courage. Stamina. Now, one thing I've discovered is that as I've increased the level of my gear, its weight has also increased mysteriously. But it's gotten to the point where, in order to continue wearing it properly, I had to bring my stamina up to about 100. It's not like I was using those points on anything else in particular, so I'm not stressing about it, but still, it's kind of irritating. Magic 200, because duh. Dexterity to 30. It's not strictly necessary to be at 30, and if you're not running Abyss, or you have no intentions of hiding or anything, then realistically you can get away with 15 dexterity. Just 15 dexterity plus the extra slots that you get from the ninjutsu perk tree. And that's enough to get you your quick change scrolls. Those are like the big things you would need. It's like the one main thing you would need from ninjutsu. If you have no intentions of running, alternatively, you can also use, like I said before, caltrops. Caltrops and caltrop balls. Great fun. Aside from that, enough skill and strength to wear your stuff. Yeah, they can be more or less kept at base. This will put you at 68.5% weight, which will put you at B agility, A toughness. Pretty much, yeah, that's where you're gonna be standing. Let's see. So the critical things here: damage bonus, Omnio magic power is gonna be A+. It's nice. Let's see. Ooh, yay. Stalwart, Omnio Magic. Omnio Magic damage unscathed. Sure, why not? Alright, when we get to the room, I'll show you my untouched Omnio Magic score. Courage, magic, untouched, Omnio. Is that it? No, it's empowered. Oh, empowered Omnio goes to A+, and that's from having both of those together. Untouched Omnio at 56%. So on top of all that, there's a 50% chance that I'm not gonna spend any of my exactly really? Okay. But there's a 50% chance, give or take, that I'm not gonna spend any of my not jutsus, Omnio magics. Now, here's the thing, alright? All of my stuff procs on Omnio magic hit. When it comes to these familiars, casting it will summon 4 of them. I'll just float around me, right? And with these 4, what they'll do is every single time they touch the enemy, it'll basically add like either half or a whole stack of those effects: the reduced attack, reduced defense, and sloth. What that ends up looking like is every time I run up on somebody, they're getting hit with reduced attack, reduced defense, sloth, and whatever elemental juju I happen to be running at that time. What's that there? Oh. Hey, howdy. No. Now, a handy thing that I've come to find is it helps a lot to know in advance what elements all the enemies are weak to. And I wish, like, maybe like towards the end of the stream, if I remember, I'll show you where you can go and get that information. But that's gonna end up being a really handy resource, because the bosses in particular, some of them are resistant to certain status effects, and sometimes they're all the way immune to others, which can be a pain in the butt. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Alright, let's do this. I did not use my quick trades because I'm a moron. The ultimate constitution is great, by the way, for things like fire and poison. And you can see the way, like, I mean, now, granted, this is a combination of factors. I'm in the Dark Realm, on top of having an awakened weapon, but yeah, you can see the way that, like, I just get all this, I just get all this, that anima back so fast. Nice. Oh, well, alright, I'm with the group, I'm not gonna need the thing, so. Alright, and off we scoot. See that? Just two little guys there. What is that? What is that? Hey, little guy! Ow. Another nice little handy thing. I don't know if it's this specific realm of Sabrina that I have, or if it's just them in general, but this, ow! Ow! You thought you got it. Now, here's the thing, is that, lightning familiar, well, any of the familiars, they don't really have that long of a shelf life. Oh. There's a couple other things that I need to, want to get into about this build. Particularly about how I arranged my active skills. As you can see, this boss has just about every status there ever was. Oh, who is purifying? Oh, no wonder. Oh yeah, it's ow. Oh! The shame of it. Oh. Harry. We needed mini coopers. All right. Fun fact: those dumb Kodamas will absolutely hide if you have your familiar and you run up on them. So don't do it. Hey, Miles. You know what? All right, I'll let them do this, and I will discuss this a little bit more. I mean, you can completely fill out your split staff. By the way, I learned that. Um, skill customization. All right, what we're looking at here is the split staff. A lot of these are just kind of random stuff. Is this? Am I even? Oi. Okay, Dragon Dance. Damage boost magic. This is pretty much like, it's gonna be your strongest move, so you might as well. Where are we? Changing ways. There we go. Oh no. Well, alright. I think I messed up. We'll do that, and Pound the Dead, and where's my Dragon Dance? This ain't it. That's, oh, there we go. We want Courage. Yeah, screw Twin Phoenix. That move sucks. But yeah, changing ways, you definitely want to have magic. It's your main stat. It's, you know, like, you're gonna get the most mileage out of it being under that configuration. And generally, I love changing ways specifically because changing ways, not only is it an attack, but it's also a movement, which is critical. That jump has saved me from so much nonsense. So much. You don't even know. That's why I also use in low stance the Heron kick. Heron. Whatever. The fish kick. Also a very, very handy skill because, you know, it's great for enemies that love to retreat and backtrack. And it's also why I use Masterful Slice on it, because I want to do a lot of key damage. Because, I don't know if you know this, the Heron kick, if you activate it on an enemy who's out of key or who runs out of key on the attack, it'll do like a little grab, and a little grab does a lot of damage. It's a lot of damage, man. So, you know. Not gonna lie, the build works perfectly well with Purity, but I don't like Purity. Oh, cool. Do I have to care? Do I have to care? Yeah. What, giggle at him? Nope. Oh, it was pointless. To maximize the amount of spell you get back, you want to hold triangle while you're doing changing ways. That'll increase the amount of spin attacks and make them reach out a little bit further. I really don't use mid stance for much. I mean, like I said before, this build is essentially just kind of do what you want with it. As far as weaponry goes. But you can see here, even with even using purity, right? Without that anima bonus you gain from corruption, even without that, I'm still gaining back like just off of the confusion, I'm still getting back a lot of oh no. Still getting back a tons of anima. I'd love to show you. Well, alright, so in situations like this, where there's really not a lot of wiggle room, it's alright to bring out that dragon dance. For those of you that don't know, if you hold R1 and press L2, you can switch your guardian spirit in the field. Hold R1, press L2. Oops. And you can tell because you can see the name swap along with the pictures of the of your guys, assuming they're not all the same. Oh, forget you, lady. I'm not even worried about you. Goddamn Boshi. So now, if you decide to invest in this build, there are a couple bosses you should really look out for. One, Ren Hayabusa. I mean, I know he's just bad everywhere, but he's really bad in this. Tsuchigumo, I found to be very resistant to lightning, and since he's actually pretty much immune to lightning, and since he's immune to lightning, he's immune to the slow that lightning will bring. In fact, I don't think I've fought him yet. I found myself in a situation where I was able to attack him like I could pretty much any other boss. Pretty much. Obviously, you don't want to use lightning against lightning god Yomi for the obvious reason. Stick with fire. Fire actually works against her. Fire and purity, the only two that work against her, really. Oh my god. Oh, no, not like this. Okay, I'm fine. Ah! Now, one thing I've seen, what's his name? That guy. Fighting Cowboy. Great channel, by the way. I take this opportunity to plug him here for no reason. But, Fighting Cowboy, one thing I've seen in his videos, especially when he's going through the Abyss, is he'll use, I don't remember the name of the running ninjutsu. Like the one that makes you run faster. But he'll use that in a boss battle. Which I never thought to do, but actually, I think about it, is a pretty good idea. Is having that extra dash speed. I mean, it's something that I considered in this build, I believe. Didn't go with it, obviously, but, you know. Ah. Oh, no, it's an Omnio Mage. Oh, the worst thing in this kid. Ozuki does a ton of damage to little dudes. I mean, it could be because like the real damage source of this build inevitably ends up being those yokai abilities, just because of that yokai damage stack all around. It'll take you a while to grow. Like, I mean, a lot of those I gathered just from randomly going through levels and just hitting up mobs. But if you can't find one, then it's not a bad idea to go searching through your local scroll. Scrolls are always great for that, and especially even if you find like the perfect yokai soul, right? But say it's not the right rarity, right? Or level or whatever. I mean, level is a lot easier to work around because you can just fold in other things to get a level up. But if you find like the god roll yokai spirit, but it's not at the right rarity, which rarity does affect ultimately the damage, so it is something to consider. Then you can find other copies of that spirit that have rarity inheritance. The thing of it is, though, is that it has to be that specific spirit. So now I just picked up a Kuroka spirit. Say if it was a white one and it had every single perk that I wanted out of a yokai spirit, I would have to wait until I found an orange one that had rarity inheritance before I could upgrade it. I forgot this one is downstairs. Also, I like this remodeling business because I look like Moroku. What are you on? So now, when it comes to corruption versus purity, by and large, you'll get more mileage out of corruption, right? The attack needs that. Like for pure damage sake, corruption is the better play. But for utility's sake, here's the thing: is that the overwhelming majority of this game, you'll spend it fighting yokai. And yokai in particular, there's not a single yokai in this game that is not weak to purity. So, for utility's sake, purity has a much broader relevance when you consider the totality of like the enemies in this game. But if your enemy is also weak to corruption, then one special thing to consider when it comes to these familiars is you don't want to use strong attacks while you're utilizing these familiars, because you'll be able to keep and maintain your attack, defense, and sloth as long as the enemy is constantly being hit by those familiars. However, if you use a strong attack, there's one here. If you use a strong attack, you'll wind up throwing one of them out. Like, you'll wind up throwing them at the enemy. Phew! See? Just like that. It doesn't do a lot of damage, and it serves to essentially handicap your total debuff ability. It's not ideal. Which is a shame because, coincidentally, Split Staff has some pretty strong attacks. Heron kick! Oh, it is that butthole. Look, alright. Now, anybody who has come up, like, I'm not even gonna say as an Omnio mage, I'm just gonna say in general, anybody who's come up in this game, going through the ranks of Dream of the Whatever, tell me this guy was not just the worst stopping point. Well, thanks to this build, he is just about manageable. So you see, getting that lightning debuff on him hits him with a pretty gnarly defense down. I mean, not defense, not slot. I'm sorry. On top of the other slot. Oh my gosh. Because again, blue push though. Now, he was such a pain back in the days, but with this build, he's a lot easier. And, I mean, a lot of it is the build, you know, being able to slow him down to make him manageable. But a lot of it does come from the fact that Saito was just always very, very aggressive a fighter. Like, that's the thing with him. And being so aggressive, he often puts himself... about the hardest thing about fighting a human and with their blocking is... if they're blocking, you won't be able to build up a lot of your elemental debuff that comes from your weapon. Oy vey. You won't be able to generate a lot of that elemental debuff that comes from your weapon. Alright? Which becomes a massive pain in the butt when you're trying to establish confusion so you can get into your gameplay loop. So I'd say if this build really had any sort of weakness, it's definitely going to be humans. Which is why the Gozuki, later it's going to be Ippondatara, but I mean, until I find the right one just for me, whatever. I'm not too worried about it. Moving on. Yes, sir, I am. There was something that I wanted to discuss, but it has completely slipped my mind. What was that? Oh. The 50% untouched Somnio is really handy, especially when it comes to empowered, because even if you don't use the charge, you can still gain a charge back if you're missing one. So there, I just used my charge of lightning, alright, and I gained it back as normal. Okay, I used that one too, whatever. By the way, it takes about 2 full changing waves to get back a magical charge of anything really. The downside of playing with people is that sometimes is not always the case, because everybody want to help. But as long as you're really aggressive, you shouldn't have too much of a problem. Woohoo! So guys, I'm so proud of myself For like a whole second, I had 2 viewers, which means that I've doubled my viewership. Stats. Guys, you should be investing in me. I know what these guys are doing on Reddit. I'm hot property right now. Alright. And you know what? Look. Everybody's complained about this guy. With this build, I've not had a problem with him, not once. I mean, I can see like how he could be interpreted as strong because it's not always that I, you know, start the fight against him. Itsumari's Soul Core is also handy for any sort of corruption builds you may be running. Double extra points if you find one with Sentience Charge. Ooh, baby. Hey, we're getting a buddy. Oh, was he? Huh. Yeah. What are we on? 84 already. 84 or 90. Alright. Ooh, Benkei. I haven't fought Benkei yet. I don't know how this is gonna go. I mean, I have a rough idea. Oh. Oh, man. Yeah, it's because he didn't exist until this DLC. Like, the last DLC is when they finally introduced him. And he is just an entire monster. Now, just like I said earlier, that if this build had any sort of weakness, it would be humans. The second aspect of that is that when it comes to humans, they don't take the full force of your changing ways. Because there's some moments while your character is spinning that he'll throw in some extra hits. Doesn't work at all on a human, but a big old guy, absolutely. Yeah, I was returning. Griffin Chimera. Oh yeah, the Itsunade. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. I'm just moving on. But yeah, yeah, he only showed up in this DLC though. Anyways, I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, changing ways. All right, really, not the best against humans in general. Split staff, I'm finding to be not ideal. Where is a guy here? All right. So now this build is pretty much at its best when you're up against a big fat yokai. Ow! 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 No! Oh hell. Oh. Another handy thing that I've noticed. Real Mitsukuna, really good for a life drain. Really swell guy for that. Ah, oh, come on, guy. I needed that. I just need to get above 70%, so my ultimate con will proc. Ultimate Constitution is amazing for that. The moment you get to 70% health, just full on super strong region. So you'll be using that as well as the heavy life drain from Rim Secunda, and your protecting talisman to keep your health pretty much topped off the entire time, which will keep that damage taken halved running smoothly. Oh, all right, we're here. And bow. Later, dude. I love that they added that greeting. Woohoo! And yeah, no, I'm not wasting my time with mobs or getting all 4 of the magical doodads, because don't really need it. I have friends. Well, they're not my friends, but you know what? They're gonna want to be friendly with me. I like that one of them is a spear guy. You don't see a lot of spears in this game. Ton of split staffs. What's the other one? Sword? Okay, so a character like this, Imagawa, he's strong against lightning, right? So generally against characters like that, I usually like to have fire, because if I can't, you know, slow the guy down to a crawl, then at the very least, the way I see it, I can blind him, and that way, like, I don't know, like, blind is not a stats effect that gets used a lot in this game, or reference, really. But, its effect is pretty, like, impressive. Oh, but yeah, its effect is pretty dang impressive. What it does is basically, like, when your enemy starts an attack, he'll just keep going forward, flat forward, in whatever direction he was looking when he started the attack. So once he starts the attack, he'd quickly dodge out of the way. Just like that, he'll just keep on going. Is that a ninja? What the? Where'd he even come from, buddy? Whoa! Whoa! Hey, bad time. Bad times at the OK Corral, huh? That's tough. If you can manage to get away with it, then Dragon Dance is really handy against you. Now, I haven't really explained this, but a big part of the reason why I decided to go pretty low on my mark here is, generally speaking, I mean, outside of Courage being amazing for getting back ki, like, I don't even ki pulse anymore, it's ridiculous. But, aside from that, even if I find myself flat-footed, as far as ki goes, generally speaking, if my ki is down, then my anima's up. And even if you're winded, right? Even if you're winded, or if you're just low on ki, pop a yokai ability. By the time that yokai ability's animation's complete, generally speaking, you'll have enough ki to, at the very least, dodge the hell out of whatever thing was about to kill you. That is also a very useful combo for generating stuff. Oh. That was a big, massive waste. Oh! Thanks for the piece. So if I had to say now, generally speak, oh, whoa, is that where they went? Okay. Generally speaking, I do like. Ow. Generally speaking, I very much like low stance. The short dodge that it provides is super duper handy, and especially with split stack. Ah! What was that? Is that normal? I don't even remember that in the level. Alright, getting back to it. Low stance, really handy. Because of that dodge. Now, I said I forget a lot to key pulse, but when I do, I dodge as well. That's really, really? We came back here? All that, we came back here. Fuck. Where are we going? You guys, where are you taking me? Even though the soldiers they're pretty small, so they don't take the full brunt of the changing weight attack. They're really slow, so like it's fairly often you'll catch them on the drop down as well. And on top of that, the leak from changing ways tends to dodge most of their attacks. Oh, you mad? Also increase soul core drop rate when you can, because almost messed that up. Increase soul core drop rate when you can, because when you get your soul cores, you'll get a bunch of anima back as well. There he goes, Minamoto, that little turd. Oh, alright, I'll wait. I'm done. Alright, let's do this. Woo. I told you before, I love attacks that move you around. I also like me some ghosts at the occasion. But one of the better parts of good old Ryoma Tsukuna is that you pop them, and then you can fly away from wherever you were. Oh no, that could be bad. Oh, alright. We're at 86. Okay. Well on our way. So like I said before, the Kodama will hide as long as you have that dumb spell going. And it is 9. It's getting close to that time. Gotta find the rest of these bastards. Quick, quick! Alright, you know what? So you know what I'll do? I'll just skip. So in here. I think this place sucks, if I recall. Like, it's super hard to find a Jizo here. Dang, you hear that? They struggling without me. Those poor guys. And or gals. I'm not sexist. Yeah. Oh no, that's not good. How'd you even see me, guy? Alright, well, since I'm alone, and you're just an axe man, I don't even have to worry about you. What are you gonna do? Hit me with your axe? Fudge. Oh, attack! Yes, this will be quick. K2 tripping, drip. K2 tripping, drip. I always slip back to 2 because I just don't want that third menu to get in my way during a fight. Especially against this guy. Oh, I got switch back. Oh, I give the purity. You move. Done. Oh, he has a mortal soul? I guess, yeah, he didn't have like a soul. I mean, that's rude. He has a turtle soul. Let me not hate on turtles. I like turtles. This is a whole other place. What? Oh, this one is I gotta go around some stuff. Alright, I remember this one. Oh gosh, I was not ready for you. Oh, apparently I'm getting back health. Oh! That cannot be good. Wow. Double poop. Triple poop! I'm done for the day. Then I can move on. True. Back to 2. Oh, my boy Gozuki! Man, haven't seen you in a bit. Not gonna lie, I hated farming for... There was this one Gozuki roll that I was looking for. The Sentience Charge. And to get that one, I had to go through the biggest trial. Like, I think, I must have spent, well, comparatively speaking for, like, on a grind in this game. Because most of the time that I grind in this game is passive. I hoard, like, you know, I hoard gear, and I just sort through it later. I hoard yokai souls, just kind of, you know, get to them. Oh, they both showed up. Cool. Does that mean more souls? I think my life is for it. Look at all that every Big beefy boy! I don't remember them making this steak so tough. Look at that damage! Oh, you never go zero key, buddy. Oh. Hey, scroll to Neo. Alright, let's see. So, this is floor 88, which means that this is 89 we're heading to, and then, yeah, so then 2 more floors. Just in time. Getting a little tired. All the excitement of the day. You know the stuff. Oof. Good gracious. This guy in particular, very, very weak to purity. Very, very resistant to corruption. Usually opens with a grab. Keep that in mind. That was fun. Oh, this is gonna go bad. So, in situations like this is why I have that attacking. Oh, well, actually, it's just him now. All right, we'll just survive this. Obviously, some things haven't changed from the past. We still don't like that guy. And that's my motto, though. Alright, so the combination of that protection talisman and the Honda clan give me the ability to tank a lot more than I really should be able to properly. It does help that I have that elemental damage taken reduction. That would be thanks to what's it called? That would be thanks to the set bonus from that loser that we just fought. That guy. So I've got an extra little bit of defense and an extra little bit of elemental defense. But ultimately, it doesn't really do much to help me in my build. More often than not, I'm saved by that elemental damage taken during guarding. With all 3 of them together, at max... max whatever the heck. At max familiarity, there you go. It adds up to a total of greater than 100%. So, if an enemy has high elemental damage and you block his attack, it makes it pretty much meaningless. It's amazing for Enera. Who else is really highly elemental? Realm is really highly elemental. Limited functionality with Otakamaru himself, because his attacks are a combination of physical and magical damage. you catch Magoishi in midair, like while he's teleporting or something, you can completely knock him out the sky. It's great. Oh my god, can I fight him, please? Please, I want to play too. Thank you. Oh, that was so confusing having that extra guy. Alright, last floor. But as you can see, this thing is primo for running with someone else, because on its own it doesn't do the most damage. It's not a very, like, imposing thing on its own. I have to waste time. Boo. I'll probably end up doing the rest of these runs with other people. Kind of once a day, like I've been doing. That's been working. After that, farm up a blue set of basically the same stuff. Get it up to plus 120. Yep. See if my weight changes at all because of that. Consistently. Oh, but the Spear of Light is gone, so that means I can get dirty again. Yeah, buddy. Or not, because you still have purity, you pure person. Great. Get him, girl. Oh, okay, I didn't die though. That did and that's what I'm talking about here, because I know that like a lot of people don't like this guy because he's like on account of how strong he is for being so fast. But you can see I took the, like, I don't know if you saw that, I took the full of that charge attack. Right? But thanks to protection charm, like, not only did I not take any damage, but the protection charm didn't even wear off of that. Very handy. Very handy combination of Honda Clan and protection charm. And like I said before, I combined that with elemental damage taking guarding, and this build is a lot tankier than you would expect it to be. Which, it's a lot tankier than by any rights it should be. Because, like, everything is medium and light armor. There's not a single heavy piece in the entire build. I mean, okay? Nope, medium. Yeah. William. Get the frick back here, William. Goodness gracious me. Yeah! Suck a fat. Alright, and that is 10 levels with the Omega build. So, you may not have watched now, but you know what? If you happen upon this later, the build will not be in the description because I don't know how to do that yet. Thanks so much for coming by, though. And if you have any questions, you know, feel free to comment. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell. I never update. So, you know, it'll be fun for both of us. Alright. Take care now.